Well, hello, hello, and welcome back, y'all. And happy Easter! I hope it's a wonderful one. So, that said, that's what I'm doing today. I'm doing an Easter build for Easter and the shape of an Easter egg. At least, I hope it looks like an Easter egg. I struggled so much with the shape of this stupid egg. I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to make it look like a stupid egg. In the end, I got it eventually, but it took me a minute. I went back and forth with a few little half walls there at the top because it just wasn't looking right. But every time I did that, the little pokey out parts just didn't look right. And I'm like, no, this doesn't look like an egg. So I went back to the original, and the original definitely, definitely looked much better. So I stuck with that. And once I got the shell done, I grabbed a bed just to kind of figure out, okay, is this even going to be big enough? And it was. So I left it where it laid. And then of course, I had to go in and do the roof. I had no idea. I knew it initially, that one long piece of roof, I knew that was going to stay there, but as far as the rest of it, I wasn't really sure. The biggest part that kind of threw me for a loop was what I'm working on right now. I couldn't figure it out. It took me a minute. As most of us, it takes a minute to do the roofing thing, and having those all the same roof pieces on the same side of the house looked really stupid to me. So I was like, nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. So I went back to square one with those little pieces there, and I tried different kinds of roofs, different angles, different pitches, different everything. And then I decided, you know what? This side of the house looks more like at the front of the house. So I flipped it around and I was like, okay, that's what I'm doing. That's where it's staying. Threw down a door so I could remember where I wanted the front door. And as you can see, a ton of lights, because with all those like corners and stuff, I wasn't going to be able to get the lighting in the right place. So yeah, there's a lot of lights, but needless to say, they don't all stay, of course. I do change them out. Then came the fun part, laying out the floor plan. Where are things going to go? I already had an idea that the bedrooms were going to be kind of where they were, but then I was like, okay, now the living room. How do I do the living room? What am I going to do? So I added the wall there and decided to close off the entryway to have it like a completely separate entryway, and extended it out a little bit because it was just looking weird to have a square entryway and then have those little divots for the living room. So I closed it off all the way over, and I think it looks so much better that way. But I do end up with a very weird bathroom for the girls' bedroom here. But I didn't know what else to do with that space. So I was like, yeah, this tiny bathroom would work. I think it would work, put it in a shower. So I did that and did the ensuite bathroom for the parents' bedroom. I knew I wanted the kitchen where I placed it. It looked weird with the windows because those windows just looked odd on that side of the house, but I wasn't about to change the way this house looked. I was not about to turn it around again and redo the floor plan. So I left that where it was, left those windows there. Those happy birthday windows are the best windows ever, in my opinion. I think that it works with so many different builds. Of course, depending on the roofing and, what kind of build you're doing, of course, that could change. But for me, in most of my builds, those happy birthday windows are perfection. I do need to go back and, sometimes change out the windows so I don't use the same ones all the time. But here I am again, did the porch after I did the roof. So I was playing around with that and had to figure something out that would make it work. And I realized when I was doing the front, I wasn't going to be able to have an overhang. It was going to have to be no overhangs on the porch and the patio roofing. But when I do that, it doesn't look right with the pillars. So I had to add a platform on top and then add a trim and then spandrels and, the stairs and the pillars and everything. So I got all that laid out. I had the basics of it. I was like, okay, I'm good to go. So here in just a minute, or in a couple of seconds, I'm going to walk you through the whole build. And I'm going to tell you a secret. It's really cool. So don't go anywhere. Just blink. Okie dokie. I'm all done. This is so cool. It's so pretty and pink and all of that. I tried to keep the Easter kind of pastel-y sort of colors in the house as well. So I'll show you that in a minute. So don't go anywhere. As you can see, I threw down some landscaping. This front wall was a little, so I decided to throw up some vines, and I did choose the pink vines, or the pink flowering vines, whatever, because the house itself is pink. I know it's not a very logical color for a house, but we are doing an Easter build house. So it had to be pink. It had to be Eastery, I guess is the word. I don't know. But I did add some colorful wildflowers out here with some white daisies and the varied of colors under the trees like I usually do. Here in the corner where the roof was hanging over, ooh, can't see it, where the roof was hanging over right here in this little gap, I threw down a pillar and put in greenery there. So every corner that I did that to, I added the landscaping just to kind of fill it in and give it a purpose. And I did the same thing out back with the flowers and the landscaping, and it looks so pretty. I tried to make the daisies look kind of natural, like they weren't planted there, they just kind of happened to grow there. And I hope that came across. I really did try to make it look that way. At least that was my intention. Anywho, out here we have also some gardening or planter pots, I suppose. Some beach towels for the girls, because they have two girls, two very young girls. They just got out of toddlerhood, so they're still really young. But they like to come outside and bathe in the sun while mom does her gardening. And then I did something I haven't done in a very long time, which is add the slip and slide. Even as an adult, the slip and slides are fun. They are more dangerous when you're an adult, I will say that, because they are made for children. However, you get a long enough one, it's all right. Anyway, I also threw down a swing set, and I did not put down a fence simply because this lot already came with the fence. I couldn't delete the fence or change it. So I didn't add a fence. So if you want a fence and you download this one, you will have to add a fence yourself. And you will have to move a few things because they will be in the way of the fence. But that's up to you. I think it looks really cute the way it is right now. I wish I could have done some landscaping back here in the back where the fence ends, but I couldn't. So that's how it is. We do have the exterior trash can there as well. And we've got a nice little place for the family to sit and eat outside with the grill, a ceiling fan and a plant. And I put some spandrel lights in the 3 openings so that it is nice and bright in the evening so they can enjoy a nice evening dinner with the family. So this tree here is regular size. This one I made smaller by 1, and this one I made bigger by 1 because I like having this big oak tree in the back. I think it's great. And yes, that is a great headstone out back because when they bought the house, there was a headstone there. They didn't know why. They weren't going to question it. They just left it there, and they have left it alone. As you can see, there is grass that has grown around it. They try to let that person, if they are still there, rest in peace and not bother them, which is a good thing, really a smart thing. So let's go inside and I'll show you. I'm so excited. So we are up here on the porch and we walk into the entry area. You have a nice little table to drop off your things and the mail. You have a no shoe sign because there are no shoes allowed in this house, which is fine. You've got your little coat closet back there and another little area that you can drop off some stuff, things that you might need on your way out and whatnot. Cabinets are a very light, kind of rosy pink, which I think is really pretty. It works really well with everything that's in here. I really, really like it. These are the double doors that lead you into the living room. And oh, I hate when that does that. Anyway, there's some plants here in the corner and then the place to drop off your shoes and your coats and everything else. There is a step up into the kitchen area, which, hello, can we say yellow? I think we can. This kitchen is so yellow. It is so pretty, so bright, and wonderful. Looks like the kids have gotten into the cereal, and that's okay. They can do that. They're good girls, I think. But anyway, we've got some clutter here on the counters. We've got a counter, 2 counters free, more clutter, microwave, stainless steel appliances as far as I can tell, and upper cabinetry, which is always, always a good thing. And they have a large trash can. Also, you have a dog food bowl, the hanging vegetables and whatnot, and then the dining room over here on the same level as the kitchen with a little bit of decor, not a ton. You keep going through the kitchen. This is the living room, which you step down into, which, as you can see, also steps down from the entryway. And I do have curtains over the door because my thought is if you don't want your guests knowing what you're doing in the living room for whatever reason, you can shut the curtains and they'll never know unless they come through the kitchen, and then they might. But that's a different story for a different day. Anyway, we have this beautiful living room here with some wonderfully Easter-like colors. I love it. It looks so pretty. It took me a minute to find the right wall covering, but I do like where I ended up. I think white was the way to go because there was way too much other color that I was thinking of adding with the furnishings and the decor and everything. So I didn't want to put a lot of color or a lot of design up on the walls or anything. So I wanted them to be kind of plain, but not like boring. So this way you get the plain white with, you know, the dimension with the paneling. So I like it. I think it worked out pretty good. I think the colors are great. Got a little bit of clutter. Their gaming stuff over there, and that's quite all right. We've got a family computer here, bookshelf. We've got the big doggy door over there. More shoes there by the door. A little bit of clutter and some pictures on the wall and the doggy's bed. And I really don't like how when you have a platform, it does that. Can't fix it. At least I haven't been able to. Now we go into the parents' bedroom. I had a hard time finding walls for this room, but I really like where I ended up with it. I love it. It's very simple. It's very large. They probably didn't need this big of a room. They could have taken the girls' room, but they didn't want to. They're the parents. They get the big room, so they took the big room. Plus, it has a large ensuite bathroom, so, you know, they kind of needed that more so than the girls did. But we do have some decor, some swag curtains, the bed, obviously, a little bit of clutter, some stuff on the walls, a little corner where they can sit and read a book quietly in peace in their room, as well as incense so that they can just take in those calming scents and just chill. And yes, they have a platform coming into their room as well, because there is a platform that goes down into the living room. And I wanted to kind of keep with that. Plus the fact that I didn't want the bedroom as the same level as the kitchen. So there's a lot of levels going on here, and that's okay. I really, really like that. I like doing that. It's an older home. They've just redone it. This is their full ensuite. So we have a shower with their robes, the toilet with the thing above it. Got a bathtub and a double sink with all of their clutter, the mirrors, bathtub, or for the tub, I added this little half wall here. And your Sims get in where the faucet is. They should be able to get in just fine. Then the towels, a little plant up there because plants do great in the bathroom. And same tile work as the kitchen. So there you go. You're welcome. I really like this room. I think it turned out great. Now we're going to go into this shared bathroom, or the half bath, excuse me. And this is for the guests, or if, you know, one of the other bathrooms are full, this is it. There's nothing more to it than that. I'm going to walk you through that. And then this is the girls' room. So fun. This was so fun to do. I always try to do something different. When I do houses now, I try to make it different. It has to be different. It has to be. I don't want to make the same thing over and over again. You're going to stop watching my videos if you do. Plus, there's not going to be any inspiration for anybody if I keep doing the same damn thing all the time. So anyway, we have both girls in this room. They're about the same age, maybe a year or two apart. But like I said, they just got out of toddlerhood. But they wanted to give the girls each their own privacy. So they put up this partition wall that has curtains that are interwoven into them. So they get a little bit of privacy on either side of the room. On this side is their shared computer with a little bit of decor, butterflies, the flamingo, and that is a flamingo, right? Yeah, that's a flamingo. Anyway, And we've got their backpacks and the shoes by the door. And then over here, they've got a little bit of clutter for their toys, some more decor. And then this is the other bed with a few more posters and some decals on the wall. It's really pretty. And then they share the flamingo. They both love the flamingo, but they only had one at the store, so they put it in the middle of the room and they get to share it. And this is their bathroom. Do you see now why the parents didn't take this room and give the girls the bigger room? Because this bathroom is annoyingly tiny, but everything you need is in this bathroom. So they can't complain. They have everything they need. And it's decorated in pink colors. So they really can't complain now. I was going to make this a toddler bedroom for 2 toddler girls, but that meant that I needed a bathtub. And I wasn't able to put a bathtub in there. And the way the bathtub is in the master bedroom, they would not have been able to bathe the toddlers because of that half wall. So I was like, forget it. We're just going to make it very young girl bedroom. So I left it and kept it. And I love it. It came out so cute. It was so much fun. I never use this wallpaper. I think I could probably count less than one hand how many times I've used this wallpaper in any color. And if I did, it was like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. So yeah, I'm glad I did this. And the beds, I was going to have them have different bedding, but I changed my mind at the last minute. And I was like, you know what? No, let's just make it the same color because it was going to be too difficult using the same bed with different bedding to be able to decorate this room with what I kind of sort of had in my mind. But then I found this rug which matched the pillows perfectly. And I was so happy. I'm like, oh my God, it's a perfect match. We're using them. So we did, or I did. I'm sorry. I'm just so giddy and excited. I love it. So yeah, girls have their own bathroom. Parents have their own bathroom. The guests have their own bathroom. It's a very nice, really nice house. And I really, really like it. So if we go through this door and go through the back door, here is the patio in first person. And there's all their fun items that they can just enjoy being children, and the parents can do what they need to do. So taking a look from the top down, you have your porch, your entry, your living room, your patio, the master bedroom, the master suite, the girls' bedroom, their bathroom, the kitchen, the dining, and the guest bathroom. That's it. I hope that you guys like this build. It was fun. It's always fun to do something out of my comfort zone, to do something that is unusual and different, and just try to pick something that I don't always do, you know? And I think that's why I enjoy doing these like holiday builds for you, because it makes me think. And yeah, takes me longer to do the build, but I don't care. It's worth it to me. I love it. It is so much fun. If you guys do want to download this one and either play with it or redo it, it is on the gallery under hashtag Easter egg home, which is the title. Or you can use my personal hashtags, lilmomma or Momma-One, or Easter 2026. If you want to download the shell and give it a go from the very beginning, you can use hashtag Easter egg shell, which is also the title under the rest of the same hashtags. So there we go. We are all done. I really, really hope that this was as fun for you as it was for me. I also hope that it gave you a little bit of inspiration somewhere. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. And yeah, until next time, y'all, have fun.